A toy factory worker, mentally scarred as a child upon learning Santa Claus is not real, suffers a nervous breakdown after being belittled at work, and embarks on a Yuletide killing spree. This time, Santa's not really bringing us presents. We watched A Christmas Evil.
Groovy.
It's just a creepy movie. It definitely creeps you out for sure.
Somebody has to be perfect, so it might as well be me.
Talk about deja vu.
You live to tell the tale.
You gotta think like a werewolf.
It's the Slashers and Screamers podcast.
Alright, what's up everybody? Casey, Rick,
Billy.
Hello.
James. Hello. Man, has it been a rough couple of days here in Tennessee and throughout the Midwest, or what? Some bad things happening, guys.
Yeah.
So, as you heard...
That weather was scary.
Yeah, prior to kickoff here, of course you heard the Red Cross announcement that Casey is just hearing about. But yeah, we put a little information out there for the American Red Cross, people hopefully to donate to the victims. Man, like 50 victims across 5 states, if not more. Bad times. I slept all the way through it, and apparently through your text messages asking about well-being.
Yeah, I sent the group a message at 4:16 a.m. Billy responds at like 2 p.m. the next day. He's like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Not to make light of it, but gosh, what's worse about that is I didn't just respond to it late. I saw it around the time.
He read it.
Yeah, around the time that you sent it, I read it and did not have the wherewithal through my sleepiness to respond. I probably did it the same way as I do my alarm clock. I look at it and I say, I'm just going to close my eyes for a minute and then I'll respond. And then, 5,000 minutes later, here we are.
That's me. An alarm clock. Same level of annoying.
Rick, what's your alarm clock situation?
It goes off, and then I snooze it for 5 minutes, and it goes off again. I snooze it for 5 more, it goes off again, snooze it for 5 more. And then I'm like, oh, I should have gotten up 25 minutes ago. Whoops. And then I get up, and then I'm 20 minutes late every day. No lie.
So you should have been up 10 minutes before your alarm went off.
Yeah. Or like 10 or 15.
I counted those snoozes, and there were 3 of them. And if they were 5 minutes, that's 15 minutes. 25 minutes prior, you were 10 minutes early. Sometimes
there's 5. It just depends on what mood I'm in. But shout out to my job. They're the real MVP because I can make up my time if I'm late. So there you go.
Well, it sounds like you're just taking that for granted.
He does. I set 11 alarms every day, and I snooze them on repeated cycle until 8 when I get out of bed and log in.
But yeah, you've always struck me as someone with an out-of-whack cycle. So. Well, hang on, Rick. Huh?
I heard you.
Rick, that's not always been the case.
It's the case for you all too now.
Once upon a time, we all drove to the same place.
True.
Okay?
Thousands of years ago,
we drove to the same place. So, on our wagons
and I did the
with
same
stone
shit
wheels.
then. But I was also about 20 minutes late every day, so can't say much. Never said much to Rick about it because we sat next to each other. I was late all the time.
Can't confirm.
But if you were only 19 minutes late and he was 20 minutes late, he had no idea you hadn't been there the whole time.
I definitely talk shit. Yeah, for sure.
Late again, you bastard.
Yeah.
So back to the original point. If you have the capability, definitely consider donating to the American Red Cross. As you heard in the episode intro, the link will be in the bio to this episode as well. So definitely hoping the best for victims stateswide. But I guess we should kind of lighten the mood a little bit here and talk about what's going on this week in horror.
Yeah, we've got some cool shit that happened this week. And some sad shit. We'll touch on that last, though.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys... We've never really discussed, Universal Monsters, the original, OG horror stuff. For example, this past week was the 80th anniversary of the movie The Wolfman.
Oh, see, yeah, that is monster horror royalty, Mount Rushmore, if you will.
Yeah. What, do you guys have a favorite of like the old Universal monsters?
You
I
know,
was always
okay,
partial
so
to the creature from the Black Lagoon.
okay, I was gonna ask, like, who are we considering the OGs? Like, for me, the OGs are, you know, the Frankenstein monster, the Mummy, the Wolfman,
Dracula,
Dracula.
Frankenstein, all that shit.
Okay, creature from the Black Lagoon, like you said. I don't know what we consider the original Blob. It's a thing,
I don't
but
think
it's
that I
not
would
a
have listed
monster.
that one.
Yeah, and I don't think it would get any votes anyway. But I guess Dracula would have been my numero uno.
Like the Bela Lugosi.
You know, I'm more partial to Max Schreck from Nosferatu, only because it scared me the most. But the most iconic would have to be Bela Lugosi. I mean, he's like, when you dress up as Dracula for Halloween, you don't dress up as who was who played Dracula in Stoker's from like the 90s.
Oh my god.
You don't dress up as that guy. You dress up as some version of Bela Lugosi, right?
Yeah.
You give yourself the widow's peak and the high collar and the black.
But if I saw someone doing the Gary Oldman Dracula with the head thing, hair, question mark.
Well, my high school librarian had hair like that already, so yeah, she was just a little bit of pasty makeup away from it at all times.
Well, and that's even like the vampire that Willem Dafoe plays in what's that movie? You know what I'm talking? Is it just called? No, it's not. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Which him and John Malkovich is about making Nosferatu.
I feel like I know what you're talking about,
but he looks kind of funky. But I don't know. It's like late '90s, early 2000s, probably. It's a really cool looking movie.
Well, I can remember when you go back in the day, when I'm talking about like early double digit ages, we would go to a place called Captain Video, which was kind of your more local Blockbuster type. Like, Blockbuster had the big chain. Captain Video was more of a... I mean, there were other Captain Videos, but they were not as plentiful.
In Hendersonville, the one had tanning and also a post office in it.
Oh, most certainly. I don't think we had a post office, but tanning was definitely the cash cow there. But when you go to Captain Video, you have certain color, like the movie case. The color of each movie case kind of indicated what type of movie you were getting. And those the old monster flicks were brown. They were brown color. And I remember any time my stepdad would stop by and rent one for me, I would remember getting it in that brown case. And I watched a lot of those. So, I mean, it's not something that's, I guess, a passive opinion, but Dracula was definitely number one in my book.
Rick, who's your fave?
He said he'd be back. He's probably not back yet.
Loser ass.
Yeah.
But, well, I will move on.
Well, we don't have to move on. We can sit in silence till he gets back.
That sounds comfortable.
It does sound comfortable. If you hear me snore, just carry on without me.
Oh, well. I'll run this shit by myself.
Just throwing your thoughts out into the world like Jack Handy.
I will.
Oh, hey there.
Oh, well, speak of the devil and he shall appear.
Rick, who's your favorite Universal monster?
Probably to go with Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Same.
Oh.
Yeah.
Y'all are both lying.
You're lying.
But there's so many, like the Mummy, the Invisible Man.
Ooh, the Invisible Man, yes.
Yeah.
It's also the anniversary of Scream 2, one of my favorite sequels.
Okay,
and I love
so my question is... Is it really noteworthy when a sequel comes out, though?
Whoa. Two of my two favorite movies of all time are sequels.
Name.
Please elaborate.
Aliens.
Okay.
And Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
But also, so many sequels are really good.
Some movies don't need a sequel.
Well, yeah, some people don't, or some movies don't need a sequel, and some, outshine the original. Totally fair.
Scream 2 is totally great.
Like, case in point, a lot of people shit on this movie and hate it, but I don't care, because opinions are like assholes. Dead Silence is an awesome movie, yet people shit on it, and they made a second one, and the second one's garbage. But the first one is freaking awesome. I love Dead Silence.
Is Dead Silence the ventriloquist doll one?
Yes.
Okay, hate that movie, and also do not want to watch a sequel of it.
Well, that's how I feel about some other series you mentioned. So I think.
Oh God, I forgot you hate Scream.
Yep, can't stand it.
Ugh.
Can't stand the whole series.
You sound like you're taking a lot of joy in saying that, Rick.
He is.
When we get to it, we'll get to it. I'm not going to tell my opinion now.
Rick, I'm gonna shit on everything you love when we get to that.
I mean, you just shit on Dead Silence. No, it's all good.
Yeah,
No worries.
that's
Like I
true.
said, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
And I am one.
Unless you don't have an asshole, which I'm sure there are people that don't.
That's unfortunately true. It's also, we had JoBeth Williams, or Williams? Shit, what is her last name?
I'm pretty sure it's Williams.
Okay, that's what I thought, but then I was like, what if it's William? Anyway, JoBeth Williams of Poltergeist fame's birthday.
She's
Poltergeist
still
was one of my
alive.
first horror movies.
Who does she play in Poltergeist? That sounds really familiar. I just can't think.
She's the mom.
The mom.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, as far as I know, she's alive.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Happy birthday.
And then
How old did you say
Christine?
she was? Hang on, sorry.
I didn't, but she is 73.
Well, I'll be damned. Christine.
Christine.
What anniversary are we on there?
Didn't pay that much attention. Happy to look.
Well, we've done now, 2, 3 car films? 2 probably. In a duel, and I guess you could probably consider Death Proof.
I would definitely consider Death Proof a car film.
Yeah.
1983 to this year, 38.
Dude, Christine, I fucking love Christine.
I need to rewatch Christine. It's been a long time.
Such a
We
good
should
movie.
probably look at Christine here.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, the music, acting.
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And then a sad note in horror history. Anne Rice died today. And I loved Anne Rice growing up.
Okay, I know who she is. I know she wrote Interview with the Vampire. What else did she write? I legit don't know.
She wrote like 1 million billion things. Like her.
Well, I mean, like popular stuff besides Interview with the Vampire, I guess is what I mean. Like.
Well, she wrote Queen of the Damned too.
Okay.
The Aaliyah movie, which
Yeah.
the Aaliyah movie is super iconic visually. The book is way scarier. So, Interview with the Vampire and that are way scarier. But she actually wrote some books about religion as well, which are really interesting. But she wrote a lot of cool vampire books, and she also, like, in the vampire stories that she told, kind of put like queer relationships in her writing, which for the time in which she was writing was really cool.
And it wasn't happening.
No, not really.
Well, speaking of authors, I've made it now. I wouldn't call it a definite goal to get them all, because it would be very difficult unless I just cheated and went the Amazon route. But with February upcoming, and I do believe Death on the Nile is supposed to be dropping, unless I've been misinformed, the film based on the Agatha Christie novel.
February 11th.
After February 11th, so I guess it's still a thing. Kenneth Branagh is still going to be kicking ass as Hercule Poirot. And after watching Murder on the Orient Express, so the newer one, the older one was great too, but the newer one, that's probably the film that I am most excited for. So, my goal, again, not a definite hard goal to get them all, but I really want to start collecting the books and actually reading them and not just looking at the pictures. And since these don't have pictures, there's not a lot that I've been doing with them.
I'm just flipping.
Just flipping and cover to cover. But I feel like she's probably the golden standard when it comes to a mystery novel.
Oh, yeah. So, do you have either of the books, Murder on the Orient Express or Death on the Nile?
Neither of those. I hit up
Wait,
my
are y'all
sisters.
talking about Agatha Christie?
Yeah, Agatha Christie.
Have y'all read Then There Were None?
That's one of my favorite books.
I have that. And it's freaking awesome.
I saw that
Rick,
as a play
what's
one
your
time,
address?
too,
I
and
wanna
it made a
steal
really
from
good
you.
play.
900
No, don't
smokes
do
of
that.
weed.
I group texted my sisters, and I thought, because these old gals are some readers, one's a teacher, one's just been a bookworm forever, I thought surely one of them has like a collection here. My older sister is a Stephen King fan, and she had them all at one point, and she may still, I don't know. But she has a total of 0 Agatha Christie novels. And that's what I'm looking for. Well, I'll be damned if my younger sister, who's not younger than me, but like the youngest of my sisters, shoots me not a screenshot, but a photo of, I think it's called The Man in the Brown Suit. Does that sound right?
Maybe. I
don't know that one.
Okay, not so
I
damn studious are you? Well, I don't believe me, and that's why I'm looking. But it just had to be her. Just had to be her.
Oh, and side note, And Then There Were None is loosely based on an amazing horror film that I hope we get to review called April Fool's Day, the original. So, just thought
which way does that go?
What do you mean?
Which one is based on what? Because
so April Fool's Day is based on.
There we go. Okay, you said it the other way the first time.
Sorry.
I was like, I don't know that that's true.
Yeah, that's such a good film, man. It's one of my favorites. It's awesome. Anyway,
Billy.
So it's definitely The Man in the Brown Suit.
Okay, are you looking for like fancy copies of these books, or just copies of these books?
It can be written on a bathroom stall wall.
She's the world's best-selling author, y'all. Did you know that?
I don't think I did know that.
Yep, that says what her website says.
But Billy, I go to used bookstores a fair amount, and I will keep an eye out if I see those books.
You are the MVP.
I am, aren't I?
You are. Well, okay. So this is what I've been reading over the last 2 days. I don't know if you can see that, and I know the listeners can't, but this is a copy of the Sol Uric book, The Warriors. I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off until a couple days ago, and I've not gotten very far at all. I have to get out of the habit of trying to draw parallels from the movie to the book.
I do that a lot. I'm guilty of that.
Well, we've got members of this gang, and I try to kind of piece it together by their behavior. Oh, this must be Rembrandt. Oh, this must be Ajax. Can't do that because that's not what their names are. But I do believe that Lunkhead has to be Ajax. It has to be. He's just too defensive.
I've never read the book. I need to, though. I love the movie. Yeah. Just never got around to it.
Yeah, the movie's fantastic.
I didn't know there was a book for a long time, though.
Oh, yeah. The only reason I knew was because when I bought the director's cut on the re-release, it was around the time the PlayStation 2 video game came out. They re-released the movie.
Oh, man, PS2.
I bought this copy of The Warriors, and in between scenes, basically would hit like a still frame, and it would kind of do this dissolve into a comic book type of look, like, or maybe a graphic novel type look. It would like go to the next page, and then it would undissolve from being comic book to being, the live action. I thought those transitions were really nice, but at the beginning of this film was a director commentary from Walter Hill, and he's the one that mentioned having found a book with no cover in a used bookstore. He picked it up and read it and loved it, so he made the movie. Yeah, really interesting. But
speaking of another book, since we're talking about books, a horror book you guys should check out, which I'm reading right now.
Better not talk no Goosebumps bullshit.
Hell no! It's called A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay.
That's on my list. Yes, that's on my list. I keep looking for it.
So good so far. Holy shit! Is it
scary?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Yeah, that's on my list. I'm so excited to read that book. The thing is, like, if I buy a book, I am trying personally in my life to not support Amazon where I don't have to. So I usually get them on eBay or I'll go to a used bookstore or whatever. But I keep like searching the used bookstore. I have a list of books that I look for, and I haven't come across that one yet. And I could buckle down and get it on eBay. I just haven't.
Yeah, I went to Amazon. Casey, I was going to tell you, you can go to shout out to Rob Jones. He told me that you can go to thriftbooks.com and you can buy used books off there too.
Oh, nice. I'll keep that in mind too. Thriftbooks.com.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
You talking about the same Rob Jones that does the intro music to the Nasty Nine podcast?
True story. Yes, sir.
That's my guy right there. Real talk. Love Rob. So tell me, while we're waiting for James to get his head out of his ass and get on this podcast, he should be around in segment number 2 when we cover the movie Christmas Evil. But tell me, guys, what are your favorite Christmas songs? Songs.
I mean, okay, I'm going to redirect this question. I'd like for you to take 5 seconds and think about who I am and tell me what my favorite Christmas song is.
Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
That is correct.
God. And Rick's favorite is George Michael's Last Christmas. No, man.
He sounds
I don't really have one. I like So This Is Christmas, the Paul McCartney's one version.
Okay.
Is that him? Does he sing that? Am I making that up? I don't know.
You might be making it up. I don't even know that song.
So This Is Christmas, and What Have You Done? You don't
Isn't
remember
that John
song?
Lennon?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what to talk about here. Whatever. One of the Beatles sings it as well.
Well,
It's-
yeah,
yeah,
I was going to say
it's-
you're correct by proximity.
Yeah,
At
close
least.
enough. It's John Lennon.
And then I like the well, it's not really a Christmas song per se, but the Do They Know It's Christmas Time?
That sounds like a Christmas song to me.
The one from the 80s
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we call that a Christmas song, but I feel like I need to explain, okay? I don't hate Christmas music. I don't. I've just worked in situations where we had we had music playing over the FM, airwaves, and in December 1st rolls around, some radio stations just go to extremes and they want to play Christmas music all the way from, the 1st to the 25th, maybe even the 26th. And some little too Christmassy person strong arms the team and has that music playing for the whole month.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's the worst.
When I worked
because
retail, it started the day after Thanksgiving and went until New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
that is miserable.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Because
Yeah, and
it just drags it out of you, man.
I also don't hate Christmas music. I have a playlist of very specific Christmas songs that I can get down with. But
Very specific.
yeah.
And even the classics. I don't like a lot of the newer ones. But, just yesterday, and I do promise this was yesterday, not setting up a bit or anything, but just yesterday I was digging on the radio and I heard what I thought was a brand new Mellencamp song. I'd never heard it. I was only really half listening, but I knew it was Mellencamp. You just don't not know Mellencamp's voice. But when it gets to the chorus, I figure out he's singing that song about, Santa banging mom. I don't know the name. What is it?
What?
What's the one? What's the one where Santa's banging mom? I don't remember the name of it.
Baby, It's Cold Outside?
No.
Or Santa Baby?
No,
Oh.
something about mom kissing Santa Claus.
I saw mommy kissing Santa Claus. Right?
Okay.
That one?
Yeah, I think so. Is it mommy, mama?
One
I
of
saw
those.
Mom.
That one is
Okay.
not on my playlist.
Yeah. that was
Well-
John
amazing.
Mellencamp or otherwise.
Forget the otherwise. You need to put Mellencamp on your list. This is an actual good version.
I'll look into it.
John
I mean, he's-
Mellencamp, dude, he has the best lyric of all time, sucking down a chili dog behind the Tasty Freeze.
And that makes me think that he's never actually eaten a chili dog.
Right? I fucking love that song, dude. Love that song.
Which one, Jack and Diane or
Yeah,
this
Jack and
cover?
Diane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rick's favorite song is I Saw Mom Kissing Santa Claus by John Mellencamp.
Yeah, but I really do like that song. There's just so much Christmas music I do like, and when a much larger batch of it that I detest. It's usually the religious stuff, though.
Then
I'm
what are
not
your
moaning
least-
about religion.
What's your least favorite Christmas songs? I'll go first. Mine's probably Baby It's Cold Outside. I can't stand that song.
My least favorite.
Ooh.
I will say the religious music is hit or miss for me for Christmas, but I do enjoy "Oh Holy Night." I think it is a very pretty song.
I made it, Bill.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
man.
I
He's
thought
here.
you weren't gonna come into segment 2.
Have you talked about that dumpster fire of a movie yet?
It was not a dumpster fire.
Not
got
yet, James.
Damn hackles
James, I
up.
can barely hear you.
Yeah, turn down the volume. Turn down the volume on that mic, James, and then we can.
Yeah, that
It's
really nice
cutting
mic
out.
he's got. It
we
doesn't
can
work
talk
half the
turkey.
time.
You've been bragging about that mic for days, and now all of a sudden,
Was it not working?
well, I think you're just yelling into it.
I'm hearing buzzing noises.
Oh, is it
James
too
likes it.
loud?
Yeah. Well, I think
she said?
you aren't too loud. I think what happens is you get too loud and holler into that mic, and the mic just shuts off because it can't take it anymore.
Oh.
Well, it's all right, James, because, hey, we're at the end of segment 1. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got Rick's Rundown and Christmas Evil. Spoiler alert, the films we review on the Slashers and Screamers podcast are guaranteed to be spoiled in full if you listen beyond this point. If you've not seen the film we're reviewing this week, I urge you to find it and watch it to your heart's content before joining us. But if you don't care and just want to listen to fun conversations, then by all means stick around for Slashers and Screamers.
All right, so this week we did the movie Christmas Evil. It came out on November 7th, 1980. It is a psychological thriller horror film, also known as, when I watched it, it was called You Better Watch Out, also known as Terror in Toyland. It was directed by Lewis Jackson. Some of the main people in it, only really 2 or 3 of them people would know. Brandon Maggart, who plays Harry Stalding. He's just a playwright. He's a painter. He's an author. Jerry Duman plays Philip Stalding. He's known as movies that he was in, which are Captain Estridge in The Hitcher, Sheriff Herb Geller in the Blob 1988 remake. He's known as Harry Terwilliger in The Green Mile, Dale Horvath in The Walking Dead. Diane Hall was Jackie Stalding. She's known as, she was in Bobby and Rose, The Arrangement, The Fifth Floor. And this movie had a budget of $850,000. It's originally 92 minutes, 100 minutes uncut. And this was really interesting. Definitely can't wait to hear everyone's take on it. So you better take care. Santa's coming to town.
Good job on that rundown, Rick.
Hold on. Before we go further, I just wanted to point out one person that I noticed that maybe some of our listeners noticed too. Not a big character, but Wikipedia calls him Christmas Party Accoster. He's one of the guys that's talking to our main character at the party is Mark Margulies, who played Hector Salamanca in Breaking Bad and was also Napa in Oz. Probably more known for Breaking Bad. I think that's more of a widespread hit.
Yeah, he's a huge character in Breaking Bad, and I do not know how my eyeballs did not function well enough to catch him in this film. I feel like he's got a familiar enough face for that I should have caught that.
If you go back and look, I think you'll definitely see.
Okay, now that I know that I'm looking for him, I caught, Dale from The Walking Dead.
See, I don't watch The Walking Dead, so I didn't catch that one.
Well, neither does Rick. We'll talk about
either.
that later, rat bastard. Well, let's get into this damn thing. We got Christmas Evil, and like every great Christmas flick, we've got our narrator with the comforting voice, giving us a little "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and far more effort in staging a Santa breaking and entering than my parents ever put on. I mean, this was a lovely display, with the dad coming down the chimney, the kids are there on the staircase watching in amazement.
Did your parents do anything like this?
No, never.
Oh,
I think.
Okay.
I think my parents were probably. I don't want to put anybody out there, but when you've got a low income job, the last thing you want to do is give credit to some old white man for buying the things that you worked, all year to afford.
We are believers of Santa on this podcast, I believe, keeping the spirits alive, as we see in this movie.
So my stepdad probably was stealing credit from Santa, is what I'm trying to get out there. Okay, stealing credit from this old white man who somehow never gets in trouble for breaking and entering
because it's magic.
It is magic. So again, let me go ahead and formally. What is it? Nuclear. Formally introduce the Godfather of Droll James back into the fold. You heard him before. He wasn't with us for most of the first segment. He was out there making Christmas cookies, which is slang for doing the hibbity-dibbity.
I'm back after feeding the little kids in Africa.
Yes. And America.
There's snow in Africa, Bill.
Well, you would know because, I don't have any friends who've taken any trips lately to Africa. You know a few, so I'll take your word for it.
I only know one, Bill, and they was baking Christmas cookies too.
Good call. Well, you missed some good stuff in the first segment. I guess we should ask you, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Jingle Bells.
The classic. I was going to say no bells or whistles on that one, but it's literally called Jingle Bell. So, all right. I already said that, my family didn't have any kind of dress up. What about y'all? Did y'all have parents that loved you enough to go out and purchase Santa Claus costumes and pretend to be the guy?
Bill?
No.
Yeah. for a Christmas past. Well, you know, Bill, I lived in Westmoreland, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm aware.
we always had a big Christmas at my grandma's house.
We get it. You're rich. Keep going.
Well, I don't know, probably from the age of a wee lad to 13 or 14, old Willie Leddick would dress up as Santa Claus and go around house to house and visit every house on Christmas Eve. I guess the people he knew dressed up as Santa.
Who did you say?
Willie Leddick.
Willie Leddick. Okay, now that name sounds familiar, and I'm going to use the power of deduction here. Is this the old man with the flat top who always came up and watched us play baseball?
Yeah, he had a flat top.
He had like a gray flat top.
Yeah.
He was Matt and Joey's granddad.
Yeah. He'd always shake your hand.
God, man, that guy had such a comforting face.
Well, Christmas Eve, he'd dress up and he would go house to house, and he would, I guess, you know, just hang out with everybody while they were doing Christmas. Because most people did Christmas on Christmas Eve back then, you know.
Uh-huh.
Why?
That's true.
Yeah, why?
So,
I think the family get-togethers were on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day was more for like mom, dad, and kid.
So he would come by on Christmas.
Oh, so these would be like expansive family, like outside of just your house?
Yeah, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatnot, gift exchanges, whatever.
Oh, ours are always on Christmas Day, but I guess my family's different.
Yeah,
and
they
he'd
are
always
different.
show up Santa Claus, Bill.
Hey, James, how's bragging camp going over there?
I love bragging camp.
Just because
Every
I had a
week.
Santa.
Just because you had a Sandy. Well, in this cold open, the kids are on to Dad, or at least one of them is. They're kind of discussing the possibility that the intruder was no stranger at all. Okay, so curiosity killed the cat, but it died knowing. One of the kids goes downstairs, and this will be Harry, by the way. He's who we'll know later. And he observes Santa getting a serving of Mom's holiday dessert,
He's about to bake some of them cookies, Bill.
Baking some of those cookies in. And he does what any self-respecting kid would do. Okay, he runs away before Santa has what the kid had, or what had the kid, rather. You follow what I'm saying there? I'm already annoyed because this kid runs up the stairs. I'll tell you why I'm annoyed. Because the kid runs up the stairs like he's Bo Jackson training for Tecmo Bowl. Like he smashes this snow globe on the floor, which is upstairs from where Santa and Mom are having that holly jolly Christmas. And you know how heavy duty a snow globe is. Like you can stop
he decides to randomly cut himself with the glass. I'm like, okay,
right?
Like,
and
do you like pain? Like.
But have
Christmas
you never broken a snow globe?
You can't stop it. You can't do that. You can't break. They're impossible to break. You can stop a Buick with one of those things. Like some small towns like Westmoreland. I don't know that that's true. Like some small towns like Westmoreland that James was talking about, like, they got those budget problems, so they got problems with cars speeding. They don't have the budget to put down, speed bumps. So at Christmas time, they'll line up a bunch of snow globes in the road to slow down traffic. That's how solid they are.
Billy Graves, you are a liar from hell.
Well,
I've broken a snow globe.
Well, the parents... Go ahead, Rick.
What'd you say?
Go ahead,
I was
Rick.
going to say, I've never broken a snow globe. What universe are you living in?
The universe where I broke a snow globe. I wanted to see what was inside.
But you can literally see what's inside.
Well, I wanted to see what the liquid was. Like if it was sticky or anything.
Was it? I need to know.
No, it's water.
Just plain old faucet water. What do you think it was, Rick?
I thought it was like
spit?
Yeah. It's like something magical.
Okay. Well, it's magic water.
It's glitter water. Because I just wanted... I had to know. But I was younger. I was like 9, maybe.
Well, these parents should have had their supersonic sex ears on.
Yeah.
They don't hear Bo Jackson footsteps or the 30-pound snow globe hitting the floor above them. But like Rick said, the kid breaks it and cuts himself. So what do we make of this opening?
When he was watching them on the stairs, I was like, it made me think of another movie, Silent Night, Deadly Night, kind of similarities. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're probably looking at the screen like, don't make any noise, kid. I want to see where this goes.
This seems like a fetish thing.
Yeah. And it almost feels like it later on, because fast forward to the not so immediate future, and we've got the same kid all growed up who cut himself, but now he's like in his 40s probably?
Probably.
Mm-hmm. And he's playing Santa dress up in his apartment. being a totally normal guy. Oh, except for the long distance peeping in on the kids in the building across the way.
Super normal neighbor shit.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not watching the intimate acts here, though. No, he's like watching one kid take out the trash. Well, okay, one kid needs some extra supervision because, he's cutting out the centerfolds from the Penthouse magazine. Like, I don't know who this kid's parents are, but, like, somebody needs to tell him, get on to him, to leave those things intact so the next guy can look at them.
Something wrong with this guy, Bill.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, what was the first thing you did when you saw this scene, James?
I text you.
Which scene? The one with the parents or the one with him cutting himself?
The peeping.
Oh, okay. What did you say, James?
I text you and said, this guy's took a playbook out of Bill's playbook. This
I
guy's
don't think so. James, you need to go back and make some more cookies.
This is probably the most perverted movie I've ever saw in my life.
It looked like it was... James, come on.
Yeah, this is not...
Okay, that was probably your initial thought. Is that what you're saying?
It's going down pretty hard, Bill. It's the most perversive movie I've ever seen.
Okay.
You haven't seen a lot of movies then.
No. You've been watching PBS all your life or something.
This movie was seized and confiscated in the UK under Section 3 of the Obscene Publications Act.
I believe it.
For what?
Why?
There's not even
like Santa killing people.
Okay, you fucking Christmas carolers, get it out.
Why'd he rub his face with that dirt?
Because he wanted to. You don't question him.
That was the most perverted part of the movie to you, James? The dirt?
Yeah, come on.
Because it's an allegory for doing butt stuff. So
He wants to be dirty, so he did that.
Listen.
He's dirty enough, Bill.
And then that little kid tried to find him. And his mom stopped the shit out of him.
So listen, guys, I've worked a lot of jobs in my life, but never one where somebody can just come up and take my bologna sandwich out of my hand and take bites out of it.
Yeah, what the hell was with that dude? I was like, okay.
Like, Rick, if you're struggling, man, I'll cut off a corner of it. I'll make you a sandwich with like the heel part of the loaf of bread. I'm not giving you my good pieces, but
and that dude was like, I don't like Christmas. Christmas sucks. Blah blah blah. And
that's the wrong thing to say. That's the wrong thing to say to Harry fucking Belafonte or whatever his last name is here.
It is not Belafonte.
Yeah, I didn't think it was. So his name is Harry, though. That's the guy's name. He's the kid from the cold open, and he runs a toy factory. It's the holidays, so he's not really digging the lack of pride and effort his team's putting into the toy construction. So the dichotomy of Harry. He takes Christmas personally. He wants kids to... Yeah, very personally. He wants kids to get a quality gift for the holidays, but he's also a miserable fuck. Like, miserable in his job type of guy. Maybe because his give a damn is unmatched. Like, that's draining. When you put in all that effort and no one around you does, I mean, I might go on a murder spree too.
And let me tell y'all, this soundtrack, the music on this was all over the fucking place.
It was a lot.
Yeah,
the music made me sick.
So the music made you sick. The peeping on little kids made you sick, even though he was doing it to see if they were naughty or nice.
Bill, who keeps a journal of naughty and nice kids in their damn bedroom?
Santa Claus does.
I was going to say, who are you to question Santa's methods? Well, where else does it go? It's got to lay in bed with Mrs. Claus getting that Yuletide handy before bed.
Would you not put it in the toy factory where you're about to ship the toys as like a last-ditch effort to double-check and make sure they are getting them?
No, because the motherfucker's got to know.
Yeah, he's got to know. He knows he'll get in trouble for keeping that list.
He's in charge.
Well, there are people in charge of him, though. And if they find out his methods, well, he's not like the owner of the company. Like, he just made it into middle management.
Oh, I thought, okay, hold on now. I was talking about Santa.
Oh. Santa doesn't own the fucking toy factory?
Well, you were like, people are in charge of him. I was like, who? We can go back. I'm sorry I started an argument.
What are we arguing about?
About who owns the toy factory, but of course Casey thought we were talking about Santa not owning his toy factory.
I was thinking that, yeah.
He most certainly.
Toy factory. China.
Okay.
I don't know. They probably own Harry's toy factory. But okay, listen. So Harry finds the sandwich guy and all the boys from work at a bar. So he eavesdrops a little bit, presumably a principle he learned from Santa himself. And he overhears, "I've got that schmuck Harry working for me." And that's what sets the wheels in motion.
This pervert's always peeping in windows.
He does have his methods, but you're going to see, like, these methods are pretty sound later on, James. So, Rick, tell me something. What do you think of Harry's sudden change of mood after hearing the conversation in the bar?
I mean, it's like he flips a switch and he's just like, I'm just going to go into psycho mode, and that's pretty much what he goes into. But he kind of goes into mode.
And he kind of goes into it in stages almost. I mean, I found a common theme. Anytime some shit's about to go down, he starts either humming or singing or whistling Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Mm-hmm. And I started to listen, for that song throughout the movie, almost like when, watching Jeepers Creepers and hearing the Jeepers Creepers song on the radio or, in the office of the one lady, just to see if I can find signals of, when things are about to, go south. So, Casey, where do you feel like Harry's coming from here? Is this a good place that he's coming from with, his need to preserve the Christmas spirit?
I think he's super out of line, and it's very weird. Yeah, I do.
Definitely not what I thought you'd say.
Why?
No, it's definitely what I thought you'd say.
Because I'm so notoriously purporting the Christmas spirit.
Yeah. So, didn't we have somebody in the office who would, like, in springtime, wear this outfit that was like, it was like crushed velvet, but it was like a Santa Claus outfit. Well, we might have to talk about this off air.
Desperately trying to think of who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of.
Do you know their name?
I absolutely do.
Say it and bleep it afterwards.
I can't bleep it. I don't know how to do that.
Go cough over it.
What does it start with?
Yeah, give initials.
Oh, fuck it. Nobody's listening. Carol Sue.
Oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know who the hell is that.
She's not there anymore. She was...
not there anymore.
She was, what do you call that line of work? That group.
Clerical.
Process servers? Yeah, clerical.
Yeah.
They became something else later, though. They renamed them from clericals to something else.
Yeah, so James, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to leave you out of this part, James. You don't know this lady. Yeah. She was a sweet lady.
She did wear a Santa Claus outfit all the time,
She definitely wore a Santa Claus, and it was like crushed velvet, and it was like poofy in certain places, and like you couldn't mistake it. It was like you add a hat, and it's an elf, it's a red elf suit.
But she wore it year round.
I thought you were
talking about some naked pictures.
No,
we are certainly not.
We don't pass those around the office. We just show them off our phones. So, JB.
Okay.
You saw this film before I did. When Harry was peeping at the kids, you immediately texted me, like you said, and asked what on earth Rick has us watching. And when you gave me the rundown, I thought some fuckery was afoot too. I didn't realize to what extent. But when So when Harry is checking these kids out, what's he really doing? Now that we know it's not perverse, what's he really doing?
He's
watching to see if they're naughty or nice, right? Mm-hmm. That's what he thinks anyway.
Yeah. That's what he is doing. Whether it's productive or not, the jury's out, I'm sure.
It's icky.
Very icky. And, is it icky though? Because when I think of icky, I think of perversion. He's not doing it for that purpose. It is an overstep of boundaries.
It is icky to watch kids from a distance through their windows. Yep. Even if it's not for sexual reasons, that is still icky.
I think we have a different definition of icky.
I'm going to start watching you through your windows and your children.
Well, if it's for sexual purposes, you're being icky. If
If
it's
it's not
not
for sexual purposes, you're totally fine with me watching you and your kids' lives.
so
It's not-
so
there's
those
no-
are the
I mean,
only extremes, is like totally fine or icky.
Yeah.
There's no in between there, or just a different word.
There is absolutely no looking through someone's windows without them knowing that isn't icky. That is icky.
I'm pretty sure
He
you can
thinks-
just look through someone's window if you want to. I'm pretty sure it's not illegal.
It is illegal. It's absolutely illegal.
But okay, so we're talking about a guy who's playing Santa Claus here, and not like the sexy version that James was playing earlier with the Christmas cookies. And so, again, over the line, totally unwelcome, but I don't know about icky. I think of icky as like the wrong type of thing here. That
It's to me, it's just weird. I mean, I agree with Billy.
It's very
just
weird. It's
not
very
icky,
fucking
it's
weird.
Weird.
It's very
It
fucking
doesn't
weird.
ick you out to think about someone looking at your kids through a window. That doesn't like ick you out a little bit.
Well, but what I am thinking, he is not guilty of what's in my thoughts. He's guilty of what he's actually doing, if that makes sense. But you know what? I should have picked up on what he was doing when he stormed away once he saw the kid with the Hustler mag. Like, wasn't there like some kind of sound effect that we hear throughout the movie when he's about to go off? There's like some kind of sound effect that happens.
Yeah.
Almost like a dung or something like that.
The music was very like what is it? Like exposition. The music super followed what happened, as opposed to just like a generalized score.
Yeah, it's almost like watching an old slapstick comedy and somebody flicks your nose, you hear that boing, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like that. But, you know, again, it feels like he's not just in it to punish the kids who've been naughty. He seems to hold a true standard for naughty and nice to the point where he's holding grudges against the very company he works for, the one that he doesn't own. At least the executive levels. Like, and this is an interesting dynamic to me. The relationship between Harry and those who've been naughty and Harry and those who've been nice. He's really starting to spiral, and he plays the role so well. Like, he doesn't seem hokey or corny. I do really think, even though this movie is very low budget, very, I don't want to say campy, but the movie itself is quite hokey. But his performance, I think this is a strong performance from Brandon Maggart.
The hokey pokey.
Thank you for that, James.
Bill
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm attempting something I haven't done in a while.
Is that watching one of the movies for the podcast?
Watch a movie for this pod. I'm already sick.
Glad you found those text messages, James.
Have you seen this? Bill, I've never seen Christmas Evil. This guy's watching kids through binoculars. And he's got a book of which one's naughty or nice. I said, so this is a pedo thing, Bill. I said, no, you're just harmless. This guy's a real sicko.
On the next episode,
like
we're going to air out our Thanksgiving conversation.
He's a kid, sees Santa. His brother says that was Dad. And now he's like, no. So he sneaks back down, and old Sandy got Mom's naughty up, getting on them giblets. Cut to a really awkward wake up.
Let it be known, this is James's commentary, not my commentary.
Cut to a really awkward wake up montage. Oh yeah, he was up in there, freaked out the kid. Now he's 40, checking out all the kids' room and sees Sanchez cutting out a pinup in a Hustler. Doesn't sit well with me, Bill. The only tits I've seen, I had to share with a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that was the outtake from the text thread. The only tits I saw, right. I had to share with a 10-year-old.
Somebody's got an organ and some sirens. Oh shit.
Yeah, same complaint that Rick had about the music. But there's a scene later on, and we'll get there. Well, let me back up. Once he finds out that the company's more worried about its bottom line than the kids, Harry starts to take matters into his own hands. Like, he's making a real transformation toward becoming Santa. Now, I must have missed something, though. Like, he's tugging on that white beard, and it's not coming off. Did he just
glued
use
it to his face?
Okay, so he used Gorilla Glue. He's not, like, becoming Santa.
Yeah, and he starts
please.
laughing maniacally in the mirror while he tugs on it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he used some kind of like super glue situation.
See, I missed that. I must have blinked. But back to that scene later on, it's like he wills the snow to fall by belting out some Merry Christmases and doing a Santa laugh. So I think there's something to this connection to Christmas for Harry. Like, I may be full of shit, but there's something there. Do you guys know the scene I'm talking about? Outside the hospital with a truckload or the van load of gifts. Orderlies are out there.
The cop at the door, and the cop's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Like,
Well, isn't this in like New York and New Jersey or something? It's not weird that it would be snowing.
That's fair, and it is New York, I'm pretty sure. But it just so happened to be that it started at the same time he starts, yelling out, Merry Christmas, and I don't know. It was, it felt like the scene was there for a reason. Again, I'm full of shit. But even with the dark vibes and the obvious downward spiral of Harry, so far he's only doing good things. He's got gifts for kids at the hospital. He's performing a little B&E, to leave some gifts for the neighborhood kids who've been good. So really, things are great right now. I might have missed a small detail though when he flashed a knife in one of the kids' houses. Like, what was that knife all about?
He's just cutting presents or something.
Half?
Cutting those. No, he's cutting the strings on the presents to unwrap them or something.
That was a huge knife to do that.
Well, Billy's an idiot.
Okay.
Damn, tell us how you really feel.
I forgot to discount that part. Okay, well, I mean,
Can't let that get past you.
No, let it be very clear that this guy is a fucking idiot. But, after
He's
delivering
also
the
clearly
gifts...
unwell.
Okay, yes, that is a serious part of that. He is unwell. He's been scarred for life. But after delivering gifts to the good boys and girls, we get the opposite, but not very equal reaction. And I think this takes place outside of a church. And I couldn't tell if these were like some of the people from his company or if they were just randoms who were giving him shit for being Santa. But he's got some gifts for them too. Now, one guy catches a sharp toy to the eyeball.
I hated that.
Yeah, this was an astonishingly gruesome shot. The others, get their toupees split by a tiny axe. But this is where the snap becomes real. It's no longer just a maybe. He is officially a Christmas murderer.
He is, yeah.
Rick, next time I see you, I'm going to put an axe into your forehead like that. But it's going to be a little tiny one, so you'll barely feel it.
How can an axe that small deliver that much damage? I was like, what the fuck?
I mean,
it was really
still
sharp.
Really sharp.
He's been
Where did he
sitting
get the axe
in his...
Was our last?
Well, he just wrapped up the handle to look like a candy cane. That's all it was. I'm full of shit. I don't know what he did there, but I mean, it did look a real... Okay, if you've ever seen the movie The Puppet Master, it almost looks like something one of those little puppets would have held to kill somebody. The axe was that small. And it almost looked like a wood chopping axe, like a toy wood chopping axe for a small, like American Girl doll or something.
It was a damn hatchet.
It wasn't a hatchet. A hatchet blades are bigger than that.
He had a little hatchet Bailey come out with.
I think it was
Wikipedia
an axe.
calls it a hatchet.
I think they're wrong.
Okay.
Fine, it's a hatchet. But he's only doing this because Santa got after his mom's hatchet wound down there. And
here's the thing, though. Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little Christmas tree chopping axe.
I'll buy that. Casey?
He didn't see anything particularly heinous between his parents, did he? Like, he didn't see much more than what we saw.
Well,
I don't think so.
we saw...
Yep.
Come up for air, James. You sound like you're underwater.
Turkey and dressing.
Well, though, what about when Harry gets pulled into the Christmas party? They kind of tease, like he's about to come unglued, on all the dancing adults, but then he backs off at the moment. Like, you can kind of see like he's reaching for something, like another little tiny hatchet.
I do think that this movie is the first that we've covered that has a dance scene.
Just a damn minute. There was dancing in
Carrie.
There is dancing.
Carrie, you're right. But
Golly.
this dancing is very different, though.
I think he liked them people. Because them people like Santa Claus.
Is that true, though? Because, I mean, honestly, he goes in and it looks like he was about to fucking go to town on him.
Until they started liking him.
I thought he had fun at the end.
I thought it was the kids coming out of the back or wherever the hell they were that stopped him from doing that.
Oh, I thought he started having fun.
Well, yeah, once the kids got there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, they outran this herd of children to see him as Santa. But the fact that he's dancing with everyone in the next scene, to me, that spells out volatility within Harry's mind.
I didn't think that far into it, but I see that. That makes sense.
I figured he's just a nutcase, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. But, I mean, like, within a lot of, quote, nutcases comes some volatility. Any little thing can trigger you. And that's really one of the tougher pieces of mental health. It's not the slow fall. It's the immediate drop, you know? I feel like one moment he's ready to kill. The next moment he's, ready to gift a child, some, package in his bag there.
I feel that way a lot of times.
Well, he's doling out gifts for the nice and death to the naughty. And it's not really done in batches. It's first in, first out, like as it's encountered. I guess the right word to use. Sorry, Rick.
Playboy brother, his old asshole brother. He's got a hot chick. Yeah, they call and ask him if he wants to come to Christmas. And doesn't he have like a fantasy of sleeping with his brother's wife or something? Did I miss that? Was that something I seen?
No, that's probably your fantasy.
I didn't really think
Y'all
that.
didn't see that part?
Well, I might have missed it.
Why don't we talk about the part where that lady's going to Mahjong and she slaps the shit out of her kid and he gets in the car.
You love that lady slapping the shit out of her kid.
Dude, I was like, holy shit.
She slaps the absolute dog shit out of that kid. And I feel so bad.
That's right after that scene. I think he's having like a dream or something. And then his brother calls him and then you see his wife. And you're like, oh, that's who that was.
That's starting to come back to me a little bit. I think you might be right. But he has an obsession. Well, of course you did, James. You made it very clear that you watched this one as opposed to the last month.
Because he's watching the the Thanksgiving parade, and his brother's like, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh, sorry, I'm busy. He turns it up like super fucking loud.
Yeah, I do remember that. Well, Harry's got this obsession with Christmas going the way he thinks it should. And I don't think there's really any gray area. But, now that his North Pole is stained with blood, he's got payback on his mind. He's thinking about the guys from the factory now. How the one guy said that schmuck Harry was working for him. Like, I think they're implying that there was a lie told to get off of work. I don't know if it's ever said explicitly, but I think the sandwich thief is a liar. And all I know is like Harry/Santa has these boys on his naughty list.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, there was a moment when Harry was on the roof where like I thought he was having this internal mental struggle with what he's done. Like now he knows he's gone too far. He's about to go down the chimney. He gets this look on his face as if he's realized that he's done wrong. He's showing the stress in his face. He's pounding his fist against the bricks of the chimney. But then I realized this fucker's just stuck. He's just stuck in the fucking chimney.
Having a hard time with it, too.
Yeah. I was expecting like a much deeper scene there. Like I thought this was where he starts to find, that how do I get out of this now thought. But no, he was just stuck in the chimney.
That house was his coworker's house, right?
I think it was one of the execs who were talking about the bottom line of the company and telling that he needs to start thinking on the business side of it. Am I wrong?
I just didn't know how the hell he found out where the dude lived.
Well, I know it's somebody from the company, and just using again the power of deduction, I think it's one of those execs or upper management, and that's his next victim. When he finds himself in the home of that guy and smothers him partially with the Christmas sack, but finishes the job with a throat slash using the Christmas tree topper star. Very cool kill, I think. Simple, but really cool. Fuck it. Give it 4 stars. 4 slashes with 1 star.
4 slashes, 1 star?
Well, he used a star. That's the one
What?
star. The star that goes at the top of the tree. Isn't that what he used to slash the guy's throat?
Oh, I thought you were ranking it 4 slashes and also 1 star.
I accidentally said 4 stars at the beginning, so I backed off and said,
Oh.
well, 4 slashes and 1 star, and that 1 star being the weapon.
I got you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The only star this movie gets for me is the star that's in it.
Let's talk about that paint job on his van, though. He had a pretty good sleigh going on there.
Yeah, in more ways than one, right?
Yeah.
That just screams pervert.
Well, again, the interesting wrinkle to me is how quickly Harry changes his mentality. Like, he's escaping the house after killing his coworker, but he gets spotted by the little kids. And immediately, there's a smile on his face, like he's back in nice kid mode. So, even in the middle of murder, he can drop back into Santa Claus mode. But he does get interrupted by the very delayed scream from the victim's wife. Like, you have to think that this is going to be his downfall.
It was delayed.
Like, you could even see her trying to scream and nothing coming out. Almost like that TikTok video I sent the other day.
That had me dying.
There was a TikTok video that I saw. Do you call it a video? Am I dating myself
There
for
was
that?
a TikTok you saw.
There was a TikTok program that I saw where it's, what do you call those? Where you, it's not a splice, it's where you show somebody else
Like
in
a
the first
stitch.
half. A stitch, thank you, God. It was a stitch where the girl at the beginning makes a sound with her mouth that sounds exactly like a train. And the second half of the stitch, which was the user, the account that we were watching, she spent the full minute that you get to make a TikTok trying to make that sound. And she kept having to back off of it. And there's really no way to explain it other than you have to see it. But it was very funny.
I'll post
And I think
the TikTok to the Final Girl Casey Instagram and Twitter pages.
thank you so much.
You are welcome.
That would be great. Well, the downfall of Harry, I think, is going to be his inability to keep his, mind going on one track. You distract King Kong with Ann Darrow, you distract Harry with A Child on Christmas. And according to James, at any time.
Yes.
Thank you for the confirmation, James. Did you guys see the TV reporter telling the tale of the Christmas slayings? The one with the immaculate mustache?
I did, yeah.
So first of all, congratulations to that guy on the mustache. Second, that reporter is actually based on Geraldo Rivera.
Really?
Yeah. So there was
That's
a time... Yeah, there was a time when Geraldo was respected. He wasn't a nationwide known dude at the time. But
Dude,
he
I was going to say that exact same thing. I noticed that, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, like, first of all, the mustache itself you could have just had a reporter with no mustache, but this was specifically, he was an East Coast guy, Geraldo was. Typically New York, which is, I think, where he may not be from there originally. I don't think Geraldo was born out of country. I think he is a first generation American, but he's a New Yorker, I think, and he really made his name by, doing a story on this children's hospital where the kids were basically living in less than reasonable environs, and really made his name on that. And when I say less than reasonable, like, it was bad. It was overfilled, understaffed. They were taking care of children who were, per New York Governor Thomas Dewey, mentally and physically defective and feeble-minded who never can become members of society. A sad statement in itself.
Yeah, it's called Willowbrook was the
Willowbrook.
place, dude. If you see the documentary, it's terrible. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's horrible what they put those people through.
The negligence. They had outbreaks of hepatitis, measles, and this hospital was legally labeled a school. But they were, only really holding school, quote unquote, for a small percentage of the kids who were cooperative. And in theory, that's fair. You can't do something with kids who are, not cooperating. But those who weren't really cooperating, they weren't taken care of. They were left naked, unclean. All kinds of abuse was rampant. But basically, Geraldo and another writer were given a key to this hospital/school by a former employee, obviously disgruntled, and Geraldo snuck in and exposed the whole operation.
Oh, shit.
So it's easy to jump on guys like Geraldo, but once upon a time, they had something in them, people like Geraldo, that made them great at what they did. And, politics ruins everybody. You see it on TV all the time. But if you want to learn, more about it, like Rick said, there are a ton of documentaries to check out. Just do a Willowbrook Google search and you'll have it.
Yeah. He's a good guy, Bill.
He's a good guy. But you know what? Like, that happens with a lot of those guys. I mean, it happened... you see how out of whack Alex Jones is. Well, the worst thing that happened to him was one of his conspiracy theories was actually true. So now everything after that had to be true if it was a conspiracy. It just had to in his mind. And that really ruins people. So, Geraldo is just another one of those guys who, at one time, was fucking great at what he did, and, props to him for uncovering that. But yeah, this whole thing was based on
theories, Bill.
Oh God, what do you got for me, James?
Bigfoot is real.
Is that a conspiracy theory or a fact?
It sounds cold and hard to me.
That's a fact, Bill.
There we go.
So Rick, you're still refusing to watch The Walking Dead, right?
I'm not going to refuse to watch it, but I mean, I don't know if I would be interested, honestly.
Well, okay, Paul, mute your mic and go watch it right now.
We'll stay on.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm good because I think
it sounds like a refusal to me, Rick.
I think they've
that sounds like a
15
refusal.
Seasons, and there's like 2 spin-offs.
How many seasons are there?
There's
like
a lot.
9.
There's 2 spin-off series.
Seinfeld ran for as long.
Did you listen to that podcast, Bill?
What?
That podcast I sent you this week.
You sent me a podcast this week? What did you send me?
You said, what are you trying to get me into?
What were you trying to get me into? Why don't I remember this?
Something like Critical Role or something.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, Critical Role like Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't, but my I think my good friend Allison Klemp is regularly occasionally on a podcast who I'm name dropping. I'm name dropping, James. She has a podcast where they do something with Dungeons and Dragons, I think. I'll have to dig that up.
Voice actors like going through like and playing the game. So I'm in there like acting out like what's going on.
Okay. I may have to look at that.
Dungeons and Dragons is fun.
It too, Casey?
Is there something wrong with playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Not that I'm going to put on air.
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I grew up playing Magic and Pokemon, so I can't say anything.
Hit him with it, James.
Going.
That's not bragging. Like I just said I grew up playing Magic and Pokemon. How's that bragging?
I like Magic.
Don't hate. Y'all don't hate what you don't know, okay?
Hey,
Billy's hating on Dungeons and Dragons.
I ain't hating on it.
James, did I send you a TikTok with that guy misnaming all the Pokemon?
I don't think so.
I think I did. Maybe I just thought about it, but when it gets to the is it what's the name of the bee that like stands on 2 legs?
Bulbasaur?
Yeah, it gets to Bulbasaur, and he says everybody knows Big Dick Bee. Oh God. Okay. So anyway, guys, Rick's still refusing to watch the Walking Dead, and we talked about the actor. God damn it, James.
God, is there a robot on the call? Damn.
Take 2, my fire salamander.
Man, James, that new microphone's working really good for you.
So
sounds all right over here to me.
Well, that's you talking into it.
Testes 1, 2, 3.
So the actor who plays, I think, Harry's brother, Philip.
So who wants to play Dungeons and Dragons after this?
Nobody. He, like Rick said, he was one of my favorite characters on the early seasons of The Walking Dead. He played a guy named Dale, who was kind of the voice of reason when there was dissent or disagreement within the survivors. But Rick, if you only check out the first maybe 4 seasons, I think you'll like it. I really do.
Who's Dale? Is that Harold Reedus? Whatever his name is?
Harold Reedus.
That is Daryl, and that is Norman Reedus.
Whatever.
Harry Anus.
He said Harold Ramis, who is Egon from Ghostbusters.
I got the universes confused.
Fucking dead.
So Rick, I really do think
So
Billy,
that
that
show
show got.
saying is,
Oh God!
after the
yes.
fourth season, it just sucks and goes to shit. Is what I'm
No,
hearing.
I think you will like at least that. I like most of it.
Harry Anus, the season's over with.
Once they run up on Harry Anus, it's over.
I'll stick to my forensic files.
Yeah, that's better. But I really do think that the show got too popular before you saw it, and like it happened before you got to watch it, so you refused from that point on.
Here's my reasoning, and it's really short and sweet.
Oh,
The reason why I like The Walking Dead and why I think it's overblown and people are like, oh, it's so good, you need to watch it, you're a horror fan, how come you don't watch it, is I've been to conventions where people have been there for The Walking Dead guests, and they say, oh, who is Daniel Harris? Who's Tom Atkins? Oh, do you know the guy who plays Nightmare on Elm Street? I can't remember his name.
Rick's a
Isn't that
snob.
Freddy
Pass it
Krueger?
on.
I'm like,
Who are these
you're at a
people?
horror convention just for
Now
Walking
it makes
Dead,
sense.
You don't know who the hell these people are. It's just it just I don't know.
Rick's nerd ass can't handle people having fun.
Who the
I
hell?
just can't. It just drives me
So
insane.
Rick needs you to also know as much as he knows about everything horror.
I'm sorry. If
related.
you don't know who D. Wallace is, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I said it on
Did
the
you
podcast.
say D's balls?
D. Wallace.
Who the hell's D. Wallace? Is he the guy that jumped out?
You dumbass. How do you not know who that is? Oh my God.
Is he the
I've
guy
never.
that jumped out of the plane with all that money?
Y'all, come on.
I've never watched The Walking Dead. I'm not opposed to watching The Walking Dead.
Opposed.
I've just never gotten around to it, but I think people have fun. And I will say, I welcome to bragging camp, but I went to Halloween Horror Nights in 2015, and one of the haunted houses they had there was Walking Dead, and it was really cool.
Deanna Wallace, also known as D. Wallace Stone, is an American actress.
The girl that was in E.T.?
Yeah.
I'm
James,
just
what planet are you
piss
on?
myself.
She was definitely the. Fuck.
She's
yes.
in The Howling. She's in Frighteners.
She is kind of horror
Cujo.
royalty.
Is Dee Wallace a scream queen? She is also known for starring roles in several horror films. The Hills Have Eyes, The Howling, Cujo, and Critters. Oh, I like Critters.
I like
Yeah,
Critters.
in your bed.
So,
Critters is a good movie.
okay, we must digress. A very tense scene unfolds when Harry/Santa is making his stroll through the town, looking for the next home for his present delivery. He's rushed by a group of children, followed by their parents who allow the interaction to continue, but one father is, I guess, circumspect of Santa's every move. So Harry's giving out gifts to the kids, just to have a knife pulled by the vigilant father. But because they're so innocent, the kids form a wall between the parents and Harry. So when that little girl picked up the switchblade, who else besides me saw her jabbing that thing in her dad's neck to save Santa?
Me. I did.
Yeah, I thought she was
Thank
going
goodness. I thought Dad was done for. I guess James didn't think it was going to happen. He knew better.
Who's that guy that we talked to that done that one movie, Coherence?
James Burkett.
Jim Burkett.
to. Jim Burkett.
Oh, Jim. I seen something on 60 Minutes today that was pretty crazy.
Was it about him?
No,
Oh.
they built a telescope that they're going to shoot up in the air on the 22nd of December. And it's supposed to be able to see all the way back to the original Big Bang. So they can literally see into the past.
So not only is it a telescope, it's also a time machine.
No, they're saying that light is time. So it can see, like, you know how it takes so long for the sun's rays to get here? And like we're seeing, like, 8 minutes, we're seeing like the sun rays like 8 minutes ago. Just like the stars, like, they're not
Like the speed of sight, the speed of.
we're seeing not right now. We're seeing like a long time ago.
And
Well,
we're
look-
just now processing it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, Bill. Anyway, this telescope's going up, and it can see in infrared. So it's going to look into the past. All the way, they say it can see the Big Bang. Like, it can look that far away.
What if something hits it on its way up and it just flips backwards and all it sees is us, you scratching your ass on your couch in infrared?
That's gonna suck because it costs like $10 billion to build.
We ain't got infrared. We can't see in infrared anyway. Only the Predator can. So.
That's true.
Excuse me, Superman can.
The Predator.
Superman's not real.
You don't know he's not real. How do you know that?
But they say that there's a solar system 40 light years away that has 3 planets in the what they call Goldilocks.
Stephen Hawking is on the call, you guys.
Which is not too hot or not too cold. It's just right.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's on the call, everybody.
Could be live stuff, and they'll be able to see that with that telescope. So it could be an eye-opening adventure, Bill.
And that's the report from NASA.
You've got me invested.
I seen on 60 Minutes, so it's got to be real.
Yeah, you have me invested.
While I was baking them cookies.
Who watches 60 Minutes still?
I'm Scott Pelley.
It's got that gay dude from Channel 1 on it. What's his name?
Anderson fucking Cooper, man. The baddest man on the planet.
Yeah, he's on 60 Minutes.
Gloria Vanderbilt's grandson. He's loaded.
Yeah, the only one on that show I trust for anything.
Alice Cooper?
Alice Cooper.
Yeah, Alice Cooper, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he sing like songs or something?
He does sing songs.
He does sing amazing songs.
Yeah. So he comes off tour singing Feed My Frankenstein and does 60 Minutes with Scott Pelley.
And he lives right next to Baker Mayfield, and they get their packages switched up all the time.
I didn't even know that Baker Mayfield liked men. I wish I'd get my package switched up.
He has to take Alice Cooper's packages to him.
God, we're still in Alice Cooper. Just for the sake of your own clarity, I don't want you going to work tomorrow. I didn't hear any of that. I don't want you going to work tomorrow talking about Alice Cooper on 60 Minutes. So I'll go ahead and just clarify it. It is Anderson Cooper.
It was weird how they talked about like light and how detail. Like different it is now, like what they're saying about, this shit.
Yeah, the time and okay.
They're actually saying they don't even know what they're talking about now.
So I guess we're all going to have to collectively come together and watch this event, yeah?
They know dark matter exists. It is a building block, but they don't know that it's the only reasonable explanation that they have is what they call dark matter, but they don't even know what it is. That makes sense, baby.
It makes all kinds of sense. So to encapsulate what you're talking about and where we can direct listeners to look more into this, you said you saw this on an episode of 60 Minutes.
Tonight's episode of 60 Minutes.
Tonight, 12/12/2021 episode of 60 Minutes. Check that out, and we're going to come back to that and talk about it.
You can actually probably just go to nasa.gov, I think.
Also has some stuff about some Afghani women trying to get some teaching going on from the UN.
So,
because of the Taliban.
I think Afghanis are articles of clothing.
Yeah, it'd be Afghan.
No,
Afghan is I don't think that's it either.
Afghanis are people too, Bill.
Women of Afghanistan is probably a safe bet here, right?
Yeah, because you can't say, "Hey, I'm wearing a women of Afghanistan tomorrow to the ball." So yeah, let's say that.
It's Afghans. People or citizens of Afghanistan.
Yes, they are Afghan.
Afghanis.
So,
I don't know, Bill. It's just interesting about this fucking telescope. And then it's actually going to orbit the fucking sun, and they made this shield on the bottom out of it look like out of Pop-Tart wrappers, like a big Pop-Tart wrapper.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's really safe from the toaster is the wrapper. So just make a giant Pop-Tart wrapper, and it'll be safe from the sun.
I'm pretty sure they said December 22nd when they're shooting this rocket up. But they're shooting that rocket up, and then this thing's got to expand out of this rocket, and it's got 168 different pins that's got to be pulled for this thing to work. And the guy they were interviewing said, well, if something goes wrong, we've got the ability to shake it around and get it loose. They paid like $10 billion for this thing. And
what a gamble that is.
Only thing to do is shake it around if it don't come out right. Like how you get the last of the Pringles out of the can? You can't get your hand down in there. You got to That's what they can do to this fucking $10 billion satellite to get it to come in, to open up.
Did you know that, well, never mind. I don't have anything to add to that. James, this has been very informative.
My hand can't fit in a Pringles can, Bill. Yours probably can.
Mine can.
So
Mine can.
You don't know the shaking technique to get them Pringles to slide out just right.
Well, hell, Rick's tongue could dig one out. Bottom of the can, last chip. He'll do it.
I mean, I can't touch my tongue to my nose, so yeah.
He's like Gene Simmons. Not the exercise guy, James. The guy from Kiss.
Is that the same guy?
Richard Simmons.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Oh, Richard Simmons.
So back to this film, guys. The little girl didn't end up stabbing her dad in the neck, thank goodness. So Santa escapes. Harry escapes. And somehow this group of parents, along with the tenants of the apartment buildings, they form a mob, torches and everything. I don't know where the fuck these torches came from, and they are on Santa's ass. There's a moment when Harry slips and falls while escaping. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
That's Sally.
Oh my god.
Fell
we
on
should
his
cover
ass.
that.
Just what we need. Another segue.
He
So
fell.
I'm glad you all caught that fall, because apparently that fall was real and it was just left in.
Oh, I always love
Really?
stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a fun little tidbit that I read, and I actually knew that before I saw the fall, so I was waiting for it to happen just so I could look at his reaction.
All right, so question.
Mm-hmm.
What accent or voice do y'all have if you have an Android or Siri? What accent or voice do you have their voice in? Mine is a British lady.
I don't never use that option.
He knows everything already.
Oh. I want to know y'all's answer. My Google is a British lady.
Mine's just the voice it comes with, I guess.
Okay. Well, how about this? Let me see if
If
I
you
can
say
get
it,
this
you're
going.
going to set other people's off too.
I don't know how to use that.
Hey Google, tell me a Chuck Norris joke.
How does that work?
Doesn't yet.
I got to do it again.
What do you do?
Hey Google, tell me a Chuck Norris fact.
I mean, I don't say, hey, Google. I just say...
Chuck Norris facts are satirical factoids about American martial
fuck.
artist and actor Chuck Norris.
Well,
that have become
I know
She
his
didn't tell me
birthday is
anything.
March 10th.
Well,
I'll
all I can
check
tell you is
that.
I've got an American accent. How the fuck did we get to this?
What's the tallest building?
Yeah. A telescope
Listen.
is an optical instrument using lenses, curved mirrors, or a combination of both to observe
You don't have a
distant
British lady. That's American.
That's the
That
one
was
it comes with.
yours.
by their emission, absorption, or reflection of electromagnetic radiation.
I don't know who she is.
Okay, well, that's good.
I do have a British lady, damn it. I'm trying to make it work.
I just
Well, okay.
on an ass.
God damn it.
What time is it?
It's fucking...
Time is 10:01 p.m.
Thank you. Haha.
Jesus jumped up Christ.
That's because Rick's rich.
Whatever.
British lady.
I'm a nerd. I go into the settings and change shit all the time.
Okay, so the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, I've got something to say about
No.
You remember the tasty snack tidbits?
Not at
Kind
all.
of cheese it, but it was longer,
Not at all.
almost like a
Should I
Tic Tac.
remember that?
Yeah, because I got a pretty funny story about tidbits.
It
Y'all,
seems
I
like I
gotta
do
go to
remember
bed.
that name.
I think, man, you might have been on the phone when
Hey, she has to go to bed soon.
who's going to bed.
I'd love to.
You can tell me
All
your
right.
tidbit story off the air, James.
Nobody gets to know about my tidbit story.
So, Harry winds up at his brother's house. He's bloody, all disheveled. He blames his brother for his loss of innocence. Like, telling Harry that it was indeed his father who was Santa that night is what planted this obsessive seed with Harry. I guess he was cool with mom banging someone other than his dad as long as it was Santa. Pretty good gig if you ask me. I mean, you can't tell me the real Santa going into all these houses and dipping his cup into the company eggnog from time to time. But Harry and his brother, I think his name's Billy, of all things, they have this physical altercation, which Billy gets the better of at first. But after Billy throws Harry into his van, Harry wakes up, puts that five-knuckle shuffle on Billy, and speeds away.
His name is Philip.
Is it
I
Philip?
thought there was a Billy in there.
His name is Philip. Fuck. Oh well. Casey, talk us through this ending. I'm too mad.
So he shows up and basically tells Philip that he is like
William Anus.
the cause of his childhood trauma, because Phil ended up telling Harry that the Santa they saw was their dad, which, wouldn't you think that, though? I don't know. Philip then kind of takes a moment to realize that Harry is this Santa from the news and chokes him out. Not to death, but out.
Just out.
Puts him in the van where, when you choke someone out, they do regain their consciousness.
Yes.
Still Arn Anderson.
I do. Yeah.
And he punches Phil and drives off. And then the mob that's been chasing him kind of makes him do a Thelma and Louise thing.
He doesn't fucking drive off. He fucking goes in the sky with his van. And I was
into
like, what
the sky.
He begins by driving into the sky, does he not?
How do you drive into the sky?
Like in Greece.
So, I wanted to know everybody's take on this ending before I spill mine.
Well,
Casey
I fell
says-
asleep and I did not see the ending. So.
It had me fucked up. I was like, what the hell is this shit? He's flying off into the sky like fucking Rudolph. I seriously started laughing. I was like, what? Okay. Yeah.
Casey, all you.
I think he killed himself, right?
What?
It has to be. And that's my thought as well, because they're wanting it to look like he drove through this, I don't know if it was a gate, a fence, whatever it was, and that he just goes off into the sky, a la Santa Claus. But we know how the real world works. Only Santa can actually fly like that, and it's not using a van. I think in his mind, we're seeing him fly off like he wants to. But in actuality, he gave himself his own little Thelma and Louise, and he's burning at the bottom of the ravine.
Bummer. But we get this beautiful voiceover.
So he drove off of something.
He drove off of something. But it showed him flying like as if he was Santa Claus in this van. Like that sleigh that you saw painted on the side of the van. Casey, that majestic voice at the end. He's no Burl Ives, but...
But, well, it'll do. They read The Night Before Christmas.
The night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
He'll run out eventually, guys. Don't worry.
When up on the rooftop, there rose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter.
How do you know this shit?
He's Googled it. Fuck.
I threw open a skirt.
No.
And me and my cap would just settle down for a long winter's nap. That was before that. Because I read this every year at that same Christmas party that I told y'all about that Willie Lettick came dressed as Santa Claus.
You had to read the whole thing? That's long.
Yes, I read The Night Before Christmas from age whenever I could read until probably 16 years old.
So what happened was there was a spell when James and his dad were homeless, and they had to prove that James could read, so he had him read the Night Before Christmas, but he really just had it memorized. He couldn't read. It was like that movie Curly Sue where James Belushi taught the little girl to spell this really long word, but she couldn't spell cat. That's what's going on with James here.
For like 16 years straight, so I mean, I kind of know it. If I really settled down and thought about it, I could probably recite the whole thing.
He's nothing but an interesting individual, guys. James, what are your final thoughts on Christmas Evil?
Well, Bill, it's not as entertaining as my tidbit story, but I guess it'll have to do because nobody wants to hear about it.
Casey, final thoughts?
I wanted to say that looking into this movie when we first started watching it, it is highly praised by John Waters. John Waters is a fan of this movie, and I'm a fan of him. I thought this movie was fun. Definitely weird, but one that I'll definitely add to the Christmas repertoire.
Is that somebody I should know, or am I a retard?
Whoa,
no,
we don't say that here.
Whoa.
John Waters is a director of a bunch of like kind of cult classic-y films, most known probably popularly for Crybaby and the original Hairspray.
Neither one of those right there. Onwards.
You know Crybaby, Johnny Depp. Ricardo Montalban, your final thoughts on Christmas Evil?
Going to this, not ever seeing it, just hearing about it, I thought it was pretty good. It was kind of weird at certain spots, but I mean, it's definitely a different take on a slasher for sure.
You know, I'm not ready to add this to my Christmas must-watch list. However, I do think there's some good qualities in this flick. I had fun watching it. I enjoyed Brandon Maggart's performance in the film. There's not a hammer to be found unless you count Phil's gal.
I don't.
And maybe the mom at the beginning could have been, but there just wasn't enough time spent. I need to go back and rewatch that scene a couple times. But all in all, man, I'll give this a solid 3 on a scale from 1 to 5. It's right in the middle, or a 5 out of 10, whatever you want to call it. It's watchable. And I do think if you're into watching Christmas flicks during Christmas, you got 31 days in December. Might as well use one to watch it. It beats the hell out of watching 24 hours of Toy Story on TBS.
I love Toy Story. Is that a Christmas movie?
I'm sorry. Did I say Toy Story? I meant A Christmas Story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes way more sense.
That's a damn classic.
Yeah, but they show it for 24 hours straight on Christmas Day.
I like it, okay?
Okay, James. I'm not here to judge you and the things that you like.
Casey, the little rat comes out with that pink bunny outfit on.
Casey, do you have any critic reviews before we get James's pick for next week?
Yeah, so this movie is, for a horror movie, we've got a 75%, which is not bad at all. A positive review is, there's no question that Christmas Evil is an exploitation film, but it's one of the rare ones that's even more concerned with mood and pathos than nudity or blood, which I thought was cool.
Fair.
And then a negative review was, I thought it was well done for what it was, but it's just not something that I'll watch again.
And that's not even really negative. A lot of movies,
it's still a 5 out of 10 ranking is what she gave it.
Hey,
so
I'm gonna watch the movie. Like, I'm glad I watched it. I just won't rewatch it. Maybe it doesn't have rewatch value, but it's a good movie to watch. So, James, the time has come. What are we watching for next week's episode?
We'll be watching A Christmas Story. Actually, it's called A Christmas Horror Story 2015.
Wait, is this
now we're
real?
talking.
It's got old William Shatner in himself.
Not Bill Shatner. Next week, I'm going to perfect my William Shatner impersonation, and I will do the whole podcast next week in that.
And old George Bruce.
Oh, this is a real movie.
I didn't realize that Bill Shatner was in anything after 2012.
Wait, what is this called again? A Christmas what?
Horror Story.
Put a fake movie out there.
I just thought you were kidding. I thought you were going to say a different movie.
Yeah, A Christmas Horror Story starring William Shatner. I'm already sold.
James, where can we watch this Oscar winner?
Probably the same place we watched last week's piece of crap.
Excuse me.
Netflix, I think. I've seen it on Netflix before.
It says Amazon Prime Video.
Well, links will go out to all of you. We'll find it. So, there you have it. A Christmas Horror Story. Guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Slashers and Screamers. So, for the Godfather of Droll James, for the Memphis Maniac Rick, for Final Girl Casey, I'm Billy Graves. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you in the next